just have a question. I was born in 1980, probably years after the Civil Rights Movement, and I don't know, it just seems to me after all the accomplishments in regards to having a black president, a black on the Supreme Court, we are still talking about race. What could be done where it's become second nature for a company, just like tying your shoes, for a company just to hire someone, diversity, people in their community, so we're not continue talking about this time and time again?
I'm going to give you my answer, which really involves two quotes. One of which is, you get what you measure. That's in anything that you do. In running a city government, you have to identify the number of streets that you're looking to get repaired in a certain time period. You have to also identify the number of drug houses that you're looking to bust during a certain time period. You get what you measure. So even if you feel as if we're in 2011 now, we shouldn't have to have a certain percentage that you say we're going to seek, you still have to put something out there that's a goal for the organization and the leaders of that organization. The second point is a statement that was made about 150 years ago by Frederick Douglass. And that statement was, and it still remains true, power concedes nothing without demand. It never has, and it never will. Even though we're in 2011, basically 40 years beyond the real extensive and intense civil rights movement, we understand that sometimes unless you say, this is important to this group of people, and we're going to stand on it until you actually get in place the things that need to be in place, it's not something that's going to be just given. People don't just give you what you're looking for. You have to ask for it. And in many cases, you have to demand it.
Okay.
And I don't want to dwell on any of the problems, but what were, quickly some of the things that you're still hopeful they'll work on, as far as IDOT, with some of the things you had mentioned. Still a few tweaks in there, but some of the bigger stuff has been covered.
Well, I think that one of those things is the work with the unions. And I'm going with a real broad stroke item there, but we recognize that getting the unions to insist on minority participation coming out of the union halls and going into the contractors is something that you have to push, and you have to push from several different directions, because it's really easy to simply say, let me just send out the same guys that I'm used to sending out and used to calling those guys from home and just leave these other guys on the bench. But these other guys happen to be my buddies and I'm more comfortable with them, and that's somebody's son that I've known that somebody for 30 years. We've got to get the unions to really participate in this effort of increasing the minority workforce. I think that that's one of the issues that we have to work with IDOT, because quite frankly, IDOT really works very closely with unions. We understand it's a union state. Illinois is a very strong union state. And when you talk about where the Democratic politics come in many cases, Democratic politics are supported by and large by unions. So we have to get that mindset of just acquiescing to the unions and their usual ways of doing business. It cannot be business as usual.
So as far as the union is concerned, and I know you all speak of Les Green a lot as far as his ways of not hiring, different people as far as minority. What is IDOT, well not really IDOT, but what is the governor going to do to reprimand or say, hey, you know what, we're not going to go business as usual anymore? Are they going to keep him in this spot? Are they going to remove him? Or how they going to work it? Since IDOT, I heard has been known for being racist anyway over the years as far as hiring blacks anyway. Are they gonna go business as usual and then wait until the next group shows and say, you know, you're not hiring blacks, so they're gonna do something about it right now? Or is he able to be removed, being that he's the president of union?
I'll like to speak to that. After we've done all that we can do here to get him to do as he should do, again, be fair, I'm gonna request that the Labor Department comes in and take a look at how he operates the union and how he discriminates against minorities, in particular blacks. That's gonna come from MEPCO.
I mean, so, I mean, it would kind of eliminate another group having to fight and go through all these meetings over and over again. You know, if you know where the problem lies, that's why have to bring all this to the table and just, fix it.
Well, the other part of this is that we're looking to make sure that the kinds of things we put in place right now will be put in place for not only this Mississippi River Bridge project, but any projects that the state is going to be involved in. And the other part of it is making sure that the city, see, this situation is not going to just stop with what we're doing with IDOT. We're looking at the federal government. For example, the housing authority development that's being done at 15th and Bowman. It's an $18 million development. We need to make sure that that is utilizing the quality minority participation that it should be. The kinds of platform that we're building right now should be going across all kinds of agencies and all across disciplines to make sure that you see a workforce that is representative of the community that they're operating in.
So
Yes, sir.
how will you be able to go back, being that you had groundbreaking situations already, like with the port over there, like I said, 15th and Bowman, how will you be able to go back and retract and say, okay, let me go through your system and see if it's okay before we get started with the work? How will you be able to do that?
But the good thing is that those are publicly funded projects. So you can go back and look at all their books, look at the kinds of things that go into place to establish agreements and to make sure that the right kinds of percentages are in place.